Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to a moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. This is your year, and welcome to 2024. Time to transform, manifest, and grow. You're listening to a moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York iHeartRadio. Up next, in our Discover Your Potential segment brought to you by Body Align, I am joined in studio right here at iHeart headquarters with our newest segment contributors, podcasters, and even authors, Dan Gilman and Anna Devere. Their latest venture brings things full circle with this Discover Your Potential segment in a new year of transformation. Dan and Anna have closed the chapter on a very, very eventful year. And like so many, they both lost their jobs and reinvented themselves. Fortunately, they both have a belief in the possibility that with great challenges come great opportunities. Dan chose to follow in his mother's footprints and took over as host of her 30-year-old radio show, Discover Your Potential. And Anna, she saw her dream pivot in joining him as co-host. Her former podcast played to an audience in the millions, but starting over gave her a chance to live her dream, having conversations that really matter to her. And Discover Your Potential finds these silver lining specialists behind the mic with game changers, best-selling authors, top athletes, and astronauts, motivational speakers, and uncommon heroes. Joining me today is Dan and Anna to an incredible world of possibilities, and you are going to be able to live your full potential once you listen to their inspiring story. Here to chat life, love, and new beginnings are my dear friends and co-hosts Anna Devere and Dan Gilman. Welcome to the show, superstars.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 2023. Anna, what an eventful year. Not only for you, but for both of you. So we know that joining us here on iHeart and WR is obviously the high and the highlight. But can you both share a low? Anna, you go first.
Okay, this is tough. I mean, when we first met you, Zen, we were on Cloud 9 and coming to iHeartRadio and here in beautiful New York City from Las Vegas, I couldn't think of a better start. And we thought we were doing something quite different. But I also lost my job like Dan and hit that low at about July. Now, this was serious, Zen. And the other thing is I had bootstrapped my show. The other show with millions of followers. So when I say that I lost everything, I finished taping a show with Dan and my car alarm went off. Now we're remote, so here's the car alarm go off. They were towing my car.
Oh.
It got repossessed. So I had literally spent everything I had and more to create this show that was followed by millions of people, won lots of awards, and here I am at the lowest of low, trying to teach people to discover their potential. So I had that crisis moment, right? That imposter syndrome, that what do we do now? The incredible thing was that as guests kept coming on and giving tips, my attitude shifted and I built myself back to the place that I am now, which is amazing.
Oh, well, things always tend to come full circle. Dan, I'd love to hear your low.
Oh, my low was actually similar, ironically. So I actually lost my job. I was a design director for a number of years, and it talk about pivot. It really showed me, okay, this is the path I should be on, and iHeart was calling. So this is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Well, iHeart reaches 9 out of 10 Americans every single day, so the calling is real. Now, what made you lean into your challenge when it appeared you were not on track to manifest your dreams, Anna?
Well, I'm a mom. And the other thing you don't know about me is that my daughter went through an incredible challenge. She had to learn to walk again. So right when I tanked, I couldn't get a job outside my home. The fact that it was remote made me lean in because I'm a mom and I have to be her support. She's now my hero, and that is my lift, is that I leaned in hard to show her what's possible as she's learning how to walk again.
Oh, that's so touching.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful, beautiful spin. Dan, what about you?
It harkened back to my mother. So she had, as we spoke about, she did it. She produced a show for 30 years called Discover Your Potential, and I was just doing that part-time, really, on the side. And this really, I had to shift full-time. This was really my full-time calling, and to touch people's lives. That's really where I'm supposed to be.
Well, there are no coincidences, my dear friend, and you are exactly where you are supposed to be. And Your mama knows this, and I hope so do you now. Now, as you both embarked on new beginnings, you in fact both leveraged the science of habit formation and behavioral psychology without even knowing it to navigate the challenges of reinventing yourselves. Actually, the habit loop, as studied by psychologists, involves cue, routine, and reward. And understanding this loop is so important to form positive habits. And research suggests that successful habits and successful habit formation involve setting specific achievable goals and implementing them gradually. And the principles of behavioral psychology, such as operant conditioning, they provide a ton of insight into how reinforcement and positive associations can facilitate lasting behavioral changes during times of transitions like you both have gone through, which brings me to my next question. So, Anna, you're a storyteller and a book author, and I've heard you talk about the stories we tell ourselves that hold us back. For one, can you share something personal that was holding you back, and what was your breakthrough moment?
So, yes, I think belief in myself was the biggest thing holding me back. And even during these struggles, I had people in my inner circle say, Anna, you're too old to chase your dreams. Well, that's just a war cry for me because I know I'm going to interview people in their 80s who are doing amazing things. But what I'd like to say about creating habits is I like to think that the road between heaven and earth is a rocky road. And you can ride a skateboard and feel every bump, or you can learn a hoverboard. And that's your attitude. So, attitude is something I take really seriously. And I just give myself an attitude check every single morning, knowing I don't want to feel the bumps. I know they're there, but I can navigate that so much easier when I look at life as not happening to me, but for me.
That's a great, great attitude. And that's a great lesson for those listening for 2024. Now, Dan, you're following your mother's legacy without a doubt with the show she started 30 years ago. What's different about your approach to discover your potential?
So I would say what's different is, well, when she had her show, it was a local show, and she was kind of a local celebrity. But what we're trying to do is we're creating a movement, we're creating impact, and really touching millions of lives. And I think that's the difference. Is she wanted to do that, and that's exactly what we're doing. Is we're going to be touching millions of lives.
And it's all about building and maintaining relationships, right? And your mom
Absolutely.
did that. And actually, research in social psychology underscores the importance of authentic communication in building and maintaining relationships. And studies show that deep, meaningful conversations can foster a sense of connection and belonging, releasing oxytocin. In fact, it's often
100%.
referred to as the love hormone, right? So the power of shared experiences and vulnerability explored in psychological studies aligns with the idea that open communication contributes to stronger emotional bonds. So I love what you're saying and how transparent you're both being. Now, through your interactions with game changers and authors and motivational speakers, you've identified some common themes or evidence-based strategies, so to speak, that contribute to sustained personal growth. How do these align with scientific findings on human potential? Anna, I'd love to know this.
So this is a great question because you brought up vulnerability. And one of the first and most shocking interviews I had was with Adora Evans. I love you, Adora. I'm not going to go into her story, but in the first 2 minutes, she shared everything about her mess to success. And sharing and being a part of that, developing that oxytocin, right? I just felt like I was in the mix now, learning from guests every time. So every time I've had a guest, it seems like I get better just knowing them. That's what we deliver to our audiences, and that's what you can expect from our show. You're going to feel like you've got personalized attention, and you're building that bond with us. It's so transformational. It's so effective.
You're such a feel-good host.
Thank you.
Now, Dan, what advice do you have for us as your hottest tip for the new year?
Well, one of the hottest tips I would have is, and this is something I was doing, is there's a really great book called Breathe that I was just looking at. And that's exactly what I did through my hardest times was actually just, and actually Mel Robbins has mentioned this, you take in a deep breath and you count down to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it just changes your whole essence. And I would say a lot of people just don't do that. Everybody's rushing and trying to get their holiday things happening and after the holidays. So just take some time and actually take a deep breath and understand where you're going.
I love that. Breathe. There you go. Anna, give us your hottest tip.
Okay, I'm so excited about Morana Ray, who's coming on in February because she's going to talk about your relationship with money. It's a love relationship. Her book, Financial Alchemy, changed the course of my life last year, even though many things happen in between. I'd say go get Financial Alchemy and get ready for the interview that's going to rock your world. It's potent and it will surprise you about your relationship with money. It's really fun too for Valentine's Day episode.
Oh, that's a great tip.
Mm.
I like that. Now we're almost at the end, but we're going to talk about what you both left behind to make room for a new year and a new you. Dan, what's in your rear view?
Scarcity. One of my biggest things that I was dealing with was actually fear. And that's going to be behind me in 2024. So,
Anna?
Ooh, I love the Rumi quote that life is a balance between holding on and letting go. So I'm absolutely letting go of the idea that life is happening to me. I like to think that I'm going to live life as if everything is rigged in my favor. So I've got a massive bucket list of things I want to do, and they're already happening because that attitude shift.
Don't you love it that you found your footing?
It's important, but I want to share that with everybody because anybody can transform with just a quick shift. It's a myth that it has to take a lot of time.
Yes, without a doubt. And with that, we are out of time. But I will leave you with an interesting survey from Forbes Health, and specifically one poll of 1,000 U.S. adults. And this was conducted in October of 2023. They looked at Americans' attitudes surrounding resolution setting and what types of goals were prioritized. And interestingly, the survey highlighted a couple of standout themes. And the most commonly selected New Year's resolution for 2024 among respondents was fitness, which contrasts with findings from the previous year because the previous Forbes Health One poll surveyed in 2022 showed that many people were prioritizing their mental health rather than their physical health in their resolutions for 2023, which I think as the times are moving and we're getting further and further away from the COVID-19 pandemic, we're starting to really put everything into perspective, our mental health and both our physical health. But definitely discovering your potential should be something that everybody is prioritizing. Thank you both so much for coming on. This was such an incredible, transparent, and feel-good interview.
Thank you,
Zen.
Zen. Can't wait.
That was our Discover Your Potential segment brought to you by Body Align. And you definitely have to check them out on the gram at Discover Your Potential Show, or you could head directly to discoveryourpotential.com. That was Anna Devere and Dan Gilman, podcast hosts, authors, and dear friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. Happy 2024. Happy New Year. We'll be right back after this.